Hey guys, so real quick before I dive into this video, just want to say that I'm sorry I haven't really posted any videos at all this year, but you guys have voiced to me that you want me to start doing those videos again. So here I am to kick off a little video on InDesign, this new program that we're going to start talking about for print production. And yeah, so I'm going to start talking about how to start a new document and what that looks like. So to kick us off, I'm going to go over here to File, New, Document. And this window is going to come up that actually looks pretty familiar. It's not too far off from Photoshop, a new Photoshop document window. It's pretty similar. So there's a couple new things in here and a couple new terms that we're going to take a look at that differentiate these two programs. So looking at this right side over here, you might notice that the units are um, by default in picas. And so that is a measurement that we're not familiar with. So we're going to drop that down and change it to something we know. And I'm going to go with inches. So if you want to follow along, change that to inches with me. Now, I think it's remembering what I put in before when I was creating my movie cover. So let's go through it and make sure everything's correct. The width here is 10.75 inches. That's 10 and 3/4 of an inch. That's correct, so make sure you have that plugged in for your width. 7.25, that's 7 1/4 of an inch. 7.25, that's the height of our movie cover. That is correct, so let's make sure that is in there. We're going to skip over these because we're just doing one page. And now we're going to look at columns. We're going to split this page into two columns because we have a front and a back. Now you're probably wondering about what about the middle section for the binding of the movie. That is where our gutter is going to come into place. Our gutter is going to be the space in between two columns. And when you split two columns, they're typically the same size, right? And we know our front and back are the same size. But the gutter is going to be different because it's the binding. It's going to be thinner. And we can set that to a 1/2 inch or 0.5 of an inch. Okay. Jumping down to margins, this is going to give us a little bit of guidelines inside of our page so that we know not to put important information and text all the way to the edge of our page. We want to make sure it's kind of inside of our page a little bit with a little bit of cushion. So make sure to put that at 0.25 of an inch. That's a 1/4 of an inch all the way around. That's a nice safe area. And looking at bleed and slug, we're actually just going to take a look at bleed right now and disregard slug at first. But bleed is going to be the space after the page ends. And we want to actually design with a little bit of space after the page because when you start to trim the artwork after it's already been printed, you cut it out of the big page. You don't want white edging on your artwork. You want the artwork to go all the way to the edge. And we're going to take a look at how that works and look at some visual examples in class. But to set the bleed correctly, we don't need that much space after the page ends. So we're going to do 0.125 of an inch. That is 1/8 of an inch. That's very small, but it's just enough space to leave after the page ends so that we don't get any white edges. All right, so go back, rewatch this video if you need to see the numbers again, but this is exactly what our document should be because when we hit create, you're going to see this page. And this page looks exactly like our movie cover. We got the front side, the back side, and here's our gutter, but more importantly known as the binding of our movie. All right, so like I said, rewatch this video if you need it. Let me know if you have any questions.